Hi, my name is Chandan and I welcome you all to my channel. This video is going to be the continuation of the topic annotations in TestNG. So it's part 2. And before we start, I want to tell you two things. First, if you haven't watched the first part of the video, let me open it. Right? If you haven't watched the first part of this video, I highly recommend you to watch the first part and the title, if you just have to click on the link that I will provide you in the description below, and this is the title of that particular video, testing annotation part 1. Okay, and the second thing that I wanted to tell you is, if you are visiting my channel or my video for the first time, then I highly recommend you to hit the subscribe button, because if you have landed to this video, that means you are interested in knowing what is Selenium or learning Selenium, Java, and automation related stuff, right? So start now by subscribing and clicking the bell icon once you click on subscribe, so that you don't miss any video that I upload. Okay, so let's quickly start. All right, so what are we going to learn today? Okay, we are going to see a quick recap of what we learned in the last video. Okay, and right after that we are going to see a demo with Selenium scripts. So the concept that you learned in the first video, okay, I will implement that concept with the actual Selenium script, okay, so that you can understand with what I had explained you uh, in the last video. Okay, and after that, we are going to see annotation in classes with inheritance. This is a very interesting topic, and I assure you that once you know this, you will be more than happy, because this is something which I haven't seen anyone teaching online. Okay, I have not seen any blog or anywhere where you'll find this particular thing being explained to a beginner. Okay, and this is something which I ask in interview as well. Okay, and most of the time 95% of the candidate makes mistake in this. Okay, so this is a very important concept which we use in our test automation framework design. Okay, so I'll explain you that when we come to that point. And after that, we are going to see some miscellaneous cases, right? As we know that we have 10 annotations, the basic ones. And can we have duplicate annotations? Are they all mandatory? Are we going to use all of them, or should we use all of them, or can I ignore some of them? Can I miss some of them? So we are going to see all those cases in the last part of the video. Okay, so let's go to the first part, that is the recap. So this is what we learned in the last video. We saw 10 different annotations. There are actually 15 annotations, but these are the major ones. Okay, 10 annotations, they are major ones. 4, 4, 8, 9. Okay, these are 9 actually, I'm so sorry. 9 annotations, these are the major ones which are used there. I mean, the other 4 are also used, but the 5 are also used, but they are used with this. Okay, so in order to know them, you have to know these first. Okay, now I have categorized these 9 annotations in different section. If you see this, I have classified them in precondition, the one annotations with the keyword before. Okay, so sweet test class method, they have before against them. So all the preconditions that you have, you use these annotations to set them up. Okay, I gave you example in the last video as well, that when you are executing a test case, you have some preconditions, right? And once you are done executing a test case, you have some post conditions as well. You perform some action after the test is done. Okay, so what you do before the test, that will be handled with the methods with these annotations. Okay, you will do something on suite level, you will do something on test class method, and then you actually perform some action. So the method in which you have written the script to perform the validation, like you verify the page title, you verify whether something is available or not, something is visible or not, or entire flow is being tested. So that particular script is written within the method with @test annotation. So always remember that you cannot perform action, you cannot perform any test within before before annotations or after annotations. when you have to perform some actions to validate your test, to validate, then you have to put those actions in @test annotation. Okay, the method with @test annotation. So please remember that. Okay, and once we are done with testing, once we are done with testing that particular point, we move on to the annotations, the method with after annotations. So yeah, after method, after class, after suite, after test, and after suite. Okay, and this is the order of execution. It starts from before suite, it ends with after suite. Okay, if you don't understand this, I highly recommend you again to go back to the first video and watch that. Okay, but if you are not a beginner but you keep understanding of TestNG as in how it works, then you can stay in this video and you can continue. Okay, I hope that you will understand. Okay, and on the right hand side, if you see, this is nothing but, I mean, the same thing that I have explained here, I told you here, but this is just like, to show you that test comes under suite before, I mean, the class, before class comes under, or class comes under test, method comes under class, and test comes under method. Okay, now you can ignore this as of now. We will cover this in when I explain you, or when I create a video for TestNG XML suite, which is one of the most important topic of TestNG. Okay, I haven't used TestNG XML as of now in the videos that I have created for TestNG. Okay, TestNG tutorial, but we are going to see that in future. Okay, so if you don't understand what I'm saying, just ignore it for now. You can ignore TestNG XML. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, and let's go. Okay, now we are going to see the demo with Selenium. Okay, so let me open the same project that we used while we learn the annotations. Okay, let me see it. Okay, so this was the project. Okay, and this is the class we have, and we have all the annotations in this class. Okay, every annotations, before method, after test, before suite, and I have jumbled them. Okay, if you remember that the order of execution does not change with the position of methods with annotation. Like, I can use this, I can keep this before this method with before suite annotation anywhere in this class, and still it will be called first, right? So I hope you remember the order of execution, and I did mention that the position of method does not matter when you're executing your test. Okay, they always execute in the same fashion, starting from before suite and after ending with after suite. So okay, so let me quickly run this. Okay, run as testng, and this is my output console. So if you see, before suite, by the way, these are all print statements. Okay, so each method has some print statement and which tells what they are doing. So you see, before suite was executed, and after that, before test, before class, before method, and then we have the test where we are actually doing the test, and after test we are executing the method with after method annotation, and then before method. Okay, and this, if you remember, yeah, I did mention that if we have multiple tests, then before method and after method will be executed that number of times. So we have, I'll show you, we have one test and we have another test. So before method and after method will be called for these two tests. Okay, and they will be called twice. So if you see this, before test class, before method was called and after method was called after that. And again, since we have another class, another test method, okay, method with @test annotation, before method was called and after method was called after that. Okay, and after method we go to class, just in the reverse order, class and then after test, and after that after suite. All right, I hope that's clear to you. And if you remember in the first video, I told you that what generally we do uh, in methods with these annotations. What do we perform in before suite? What should we perform in before test? What do we do in before class, before method, test, and all those things, right? So let's go with a, let me just quickly tell you again that in before suite, since it is run the, this is the, I mean, the method with this annotation is the one which is run fast, which is run first. So what did we do? What do we do? We set a path for the driver, right? So if you know a little bit of Selenium, what we do is we set a path for driver or for the browser that we are trying to use, be it Chrome, Firefox, or Internet Explorer. So this time for this demo, we are going to use Chrome. Okay, so we will set the path for the driver of Chrome, and then we know that before suite, before test is executed. Okay, I have arranged them in the order of execution so that it's easier for you to understand. But yes, I'm telling you again that the position doesn't matter. I can cut this and put it all the way down. Still, it will run in the same fashion. Okay, so after before suite, the next chance is of the method with before test. So this method will be executed. So after setting the path of the driver, Chrome will be invoked. Okay, so Chrome will be launched, and after that we are going to, within Chrome, we are going to put the URL of the application under test, that is the website, and that will be done in before class. Okay, the method with before class, because we know that after before test, the next method is executed. The next method which is executed is the method with this annotation before class, and after before class we execute the method with at the rate before method. Okay, so what do we do after launching the application? The first thing that we do generally is sign into the application. So we will sign into the application, and after signing to the application, we generally get you have successfully logged in. So some sort of message, you get some sort of message, right? So that will be validated as a part of another method. But this method, since we are verifying something, remember I told you, since we are verifying something, this particular method will have the annotation at the red test. Okay, so if you see, we are not validating anything in this precondition test. I mean, precondition methods. These are the methods with all the annotations with before word. Okay, so no, we are not performing any test here. No test, no test, no test. But here, since this is a test, we are actually going to perform some test here. And once that test is over, we know that for each test we have before method and after method, right? So since this test is completed, we are going to go to the method with after method annotation. Okay, so what do we do after message? We perform, you can go with multiple things, you can perform some different actions as well, but I'm just going to keep it simple. After verifying the message, I'm signing out from the application. Okay, so that will go under after method. Okay, and right after signing out, what you will do, since you launch the site, you have to close the site. Okay, so you have to close that application under test, which we will achieve in after class. And yeah, after class. And right after that, you remember we invoke browser in before class, right? So I'm sorry, before test. So we are going to close the browser this time. Okay, so now if you see, we have started in the after methods, right? After, I'm sorry, the methods with after annotations. So we are closing the things that we started. So the first one was we logged into the system, so we are logging out. And then we invoke the system, invoke the application. So we are closing that application. And then we invoked, remember, we invoked Chrome browser, so we are closing the browser. And the last one is we are clearing the cookies. Okay, any settings that it has saved, any data that it has saved, they will be cleaned in the as the last step. Okay, and if you have any report to send to the team, you will perform that action in this method. Okay, so, and this is how, this is just a brief example, simple example of what needs to be performed using these annotations. Okay, now we are going to see this, we are going to mock this using Selenium. Okay, so in order to save time, I have already written the methods and I have annotated them. Okay, so I'll just go and this is the same methods which I have written here. All it has is the actual code. Okay, along with the sysout statement. Okay, so let's quickly start. So before statement we are setting up, before suite we are setting up, Okay, so what do we do in setup? We set up the path of the Chrome. So this is the line. This is how we set the path. Okay, this is the path of the Chrome driver. Okay, and this is the statement that you have to write, and this we are setting the property. Okay, so right after setting up, what did we do? We open Chrome browser, right? You remember this? And that was under before test. See, before test we are opening Chrome. So let's go to before test. We are opening the Chrome. So if you see, this is the statement which opens the Chrome. Okay, when you write driver is equals to new Chrome driver, this will invoke the Chrome browser. And right after that, what I'm doing is I'm just since I'm using multiple monitors, so I'm just setting the position to my second monitor. Okay, so this, you can ignore this line as of now if you don't understand. And then we are maximizing the browser. Okay, so we invoke the browser and then we are maximizing the browser. And then what we are doing is we are setting a wait. Okay, so this is an implicit wait which remains for the entire driver session. If you don't understand what it is, let me tell you that you can set time uh, for the driver in order to find some element on the application or to perform some action on the application. I'm sorry, yeah, on the application. And if in case the driver doesn't find that application, find that element within that mentioned time, then it will throw you some error. Okay, so but you're telling the driver that, hey, wait for at least 10 seconds before you throw that error. So wait for 10 seconds. So I have set that limit here. Okay, set the time here. I will explain you this in a later video when we will learn Selenium. Okay, so as of now, if you don't understand this, just think that we are just setting some time before it throws error. Okay, when it cannot find a particular element on the application, on the UI. And right after before test, what comes next is before class. And in before class, we did was open an application. Okay, so this is the, I mean, this is the same statement. So how do we open an application? This is how we open an web application using Selenium. So driver.get, and you put in the URL of that page. Okay, and after before class we have before method. Okay, and what do we do in before method? We sign into the application. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we are going to search the username text field, and we are putting the username. And after that, we are searching the password field. We are going to put the password, and then we are going to hit the login button. We are going to click on the login button. Okay, and after that, I'll show you this application and what we are going to do. Okay, and after that, this is my, I mean, all my preconditions is completed. All my preconditions are completed. Okay, we have set everything up. Application is open. We have the username, password, and we have logged in successfully. Now it's time to perform the test. Okay, so what are we doing in the test? We are checking if there is a message displayed or not. Okay, so it will go and find uh, if this message is present on the page. Okay, the landing page. After you sign it, you reach to a page where you are going to find if this message is displayed or not. Okay, and you are validating that using this statement. You are asserting that. Okay, and now this is assertion provided by TestNG. Okay, so TestNG is a test framework, so which provide annotations along with assertions as well. So you can use those class to validate. So what are we validating? We are validating that this particular element, okay, has this particular text. Okay, so this message is being I'm just checking whether this element has this message or not, this text or not. And if it is true, if it, I mean, contents will give you it's a bool type. If you see, it's a boolean, so it will give you true or false, and I am expecting true. Okay, so this is what I'm going to get from my application, and I'm expecting true. If they don't match, my test will fail. Okay, and right after that, once my test is done, I'm going to close all the things that I have started. So what was the last thing that I did? I signed into the application. So I'm going to sign out. Okay, with a method with at the rate after method annotation. After method, we get after class, we have to close everything that we did in before class. So we open the application, so we are going to close the application, and then using after test we are going to close the browser. Okay, so how do we close the application? If you have multiple application open, then you can use driver.close to close that particular application. Okay, so, and how do you quit the browser? I mean, how do you, since you invoke the browser, Chrome browser, so this is the statement which will close the browser. And the final thing that we were supposed to do is delete all the cookies, right? So using Selenium, you can delete the cookies of the browser, of the driver, using driver.manage delete all cookies. Okay, and that will be done as the last part of the execution, and anything that we do in the last goes to after suite. Okay, so we are going, let's quickly run this application. Okay, let me just but before we run this application, what I'm going to show is, I'll just show you what are we actually going to do. Okay, so I will load this page. Okay, and I will click on this format authentication. By the way, let me tell you that, if you want to practice Selenium and you don't know which application to use, which site to use, you can use this site for free. Okay, and you have everything. Okay, everything that you need or you can handle using Selenium, all those commands are here. Okay, they are examples. So if you wanted to, I wanted to use sign in and sign out feature, so I use this form authentication. So what I will do is I will make my Selenium script to open this URL and click on form authentication, put in the username and password and hit login. Okay, when I hit login, so this will be the landing page, and I'm validating whether this particular message is displayed or not. Okay, so let's quickly go to the script. Okay, and I'm going to run this. Right click on this. Okay, this is the class. So right click on the class, run as TestNG, and let's see what happens. Okay, it is printing a statement, and you can see the browser has been invoked, Chrome browser. URL is buzzed in, and we are on the page, sign in and verification is done. It was so quick. All right, and sign out was done. So if you see here, the same thing. Setup Chrome was the part of before suite, and then before test we have open Chrome, and after that, in as a part of before test, we launch the site. Okay, and then we sign into the application, and this is where we perform the test verify message, and we signed out, we close the application, we close the browser, and we clean the cookies. Okay, so everything was done as I explained you, right, using the Selenium. So this is how we use annotations in a class with Selenium commands. Okay, so with Selenium methods, I would say, I mean the methods which has Selenium commands. Okay, now this was all about demo. If you don't understand any of this, don't worry about it. We are going to see lot many things in later videos, but this is just to show you that this is how we set up our methods. So all the preconditions goes in the method with annotations with the word before in them. Okay, and the test will be performed with at the rate test annotation, and right after testing, all that you want to close, all that you had started earlier needs to be closed. Those methods will have after annotations. Okay, so this was all about a demo. Okay, let's go to the next part of this video. Okay, so we are going to see a very interesting topic now, annotations in classes with inheritance. Okay, so let's go back to our Eclipse. Okay, so this was our first class. Okay, let me use this class. Yeah, so let me just quickly, okay, I'm gonna use, no, let me just not do that. Okay, let me use this simple basic program. Okay, we have all the annotations in this class. Okay, and I use this for demo as well, for the demo as well. So right click on it. I'm going to show you just a minute again, so that it is just to make sure that we are using the right class. Okay, yeah, so if you see, I started before suite test class method class and before method after method, and then class test and suite. All right, so perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to use another project. Okay, it's a simple project, the same project, and we have one class over here, and this is the same. The content is same as this class. Okay, or maybe let me just copy this. Just a minute. All right, so let me copy and open this. First of all, let me get rid of all the classes that we have opened. Okay, so let me open this. Okay, this is the class, and I'm removing this. Okay, so that it doesn't confuse you. So this is a plain basic class with no method, and now I'm pasting all those methods, all the sample methods that we have, and this class has all the annotations that we discussed. Okay, so now so far what you have seen is I have used these annotations within one single class, right? You must have noticed that I have just one class in Selenium, just one class, all annotation within a class, and this is the same one, all annotation within the class. Okay, so let me close this. Sorry. Okay, now this is the same class again, all annotation within same class. Now you should wonder that what do we always have methods with annotation like this? Do they, I mean, are they always in one class, or they are spread across different classes? So let me tell you that when you see a test automation framework, you will never find all the annotation in one class. Okay, there are multiple classes, and they will have one or the other annotations in those classes. Okay, so I'll just but now you would think that, if we have different classes, then how do they talk to each other? How does before methods, if we, all this, I'm so sorry, all these classes, they have different annotations, then how TestNG executes them one after the other? We know the order of execution, but if they are spread across different classes, then how TestNG execute them? So let's check that part as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another class here. Okay, let me click on this package. Let me create one. So let me keep the same name as we have for the first program. So this time underscore 02 or 02. Okay, and finish. All right, so we have another class. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove uh, these some methods from this class to the other class, and let's see if they work in the same fashion as they did earlier. So let me just take this before suite and after suite. Okay, before suite and after suite is have been moved to the other class. All right, so TestNG YT Selenium 02 class has only two methods, before suite and after suite. Okay, so maybe, okay, now I have saved it, and now if I run this, if I run my first class, okay, the first class, if I run this, now remember that we don't have before suite and after suite in this class, and I'm running only this class. So let me run this and see what is happening. Okay, now if you see here, the execution did not start with before suite. It started with before test and class method, the test, and then before method, after the method, and the test. And since we have two tests, so two times. Okay, and then after class and after test, we don't have before suite. Okay, so now you can understand that the classes, different classes, they have different, they have a role to play when you're executing your test using TestNG. Okay, so I have removed before suite and after suite. Let's do another one. Let's remove before test and after test. All right, so let's cut this, let's paste it, and let's go to after test. Okay, okay, so before suite, the suite annotation, suite annotation and test annotations are gone from my first class, right? remove this. All we have here is the test and before and after, I mean the class annotations, method annotations, and the actual test. Okay, let me just instead of class, case, cool. Okay, so two test case and two test, and then we have before and after class, before method and after method. Okay, now let me run this first one, run as TestNG. Okay, so now if you see, since we have removed before suite and after suite as well, okay, and we are running only this class, so you will see that we don't have before suite and after test methods executed. We are executing only before method, after method in the test, before method, after method in the test, and before class and after class. All right, only those methods were executed. Okay, now you would think that how can we execute these methods? Okay, because as I told you that in a test automation framework, when you see an actual automation framework in a company, these annotations are divided, I mean they are separated across different class. Right now I'm using only two class for this demo, but there can be 4 to 5 different classes, and they all will have different methods, and these methods will have before suite, after suite, before test, after test. Okay, it may happen that one class has many methods, out of which one method will have before suite and the other method will have after suite, and before test and after test will go in a separate class. Okay, so you may find that as well. So now how will you execute, how will you make sure that these methods are also executed and in the same fashion that TestNG execute? That if it finds before suite, it will execute the method within that. Okay, and if it finds before test, it will execute right after this, right? Same way we executed when all these annotations were in one class. Okay, so in order to achieve that, all you have to do is you have to inherit this class. Okay, you have to make this class as parent class for this class. Okay, so what we are going to do is extends. I hope you know Java. Okay, basic Java will do. Okay, so we are done. So we have inherited this class to my child class, that is this class. Okay, okay, now I'm going to run this test again, this class again, run as TestNG. And now if you see what is happening, if you see the sequence of execution, the order of execution, suite, before test, before class, and before method, test case 1 after method, test case 2 before method, after class, after test, and after suite. So the same execution, right? But this time my tests are, I mean the test methods, I mean the annotated methods are in different classes. Okay, but when you link them as parent and child, then these will be noticed, I mean they will be taken into consideration by TestNG, and it will execute based on the annotations. Okay, so I haven't run this class, I'm running only this class since the beginning, right? So when you want to run this class and you want to make sure that my methods within this class are also executed, you have to make sure that you use this extends keyword and make this class as the parent of this class. Okay, and this is the reason why I wanted to show you that how annotation behaves when we have inheritance in place. Okay, and this is one of the interview questions that I always ask. What I do is I give them two different class with different annotations, and I tell them that I'm running only one class, and I want to make sure that the other class is also run. The other class methods are also run. So they get confused. Okay, because the reason, I will tell you the reason why they get confused. Because most of us, we have learned from one of the blog or tutorials. Okay, and I have not seen one blog, I have never seen any blog where they have discussed about this particular point. Okay, They haven't told that in order these annotations are spread across different classes. Okay, and how do the methods in those classes are considered when we are executing them using TestNG, right? I haven't seen in that example, and that's the reason why people, I don't understand, even they have worked in Selenium using even they have worked for 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years. I don't understand why do they fail to answer this particular question. They know the framework, they understand, they can explain the framework in and out. But when I am trying to give the same situation, I'm trying to give the same type of class in the way TestNG has been implemented, annotations has been implemented, they fail to answer that question. Okay, so please remember that the annotations are, I mean, that annotated methods are across different classes and they talk to each other using inheritance concept. Okay, now there is another way as well. If you remove this extends keyword, okay, and still you want to run this test, so what you can do is you can configure TestNG to execute both of this test. Okay, both of this test together, one after the other, or any order the TestNG wants. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to right click on this project level, right click, run as TestNG test. Okay, so when you're running it on the project level, it will consider all the classes and it will go and find all those annotated methods, and based on the annotation it will execute the methods. So click on TestNG. So let's see what happens. Okay, now the execution is done. If you see, it has executed all the methods and they are in the same fashion as it did when there was inheritance. Okay, so test case 1, 2, before method, after method, before method, after method, after class, after test, and after suite. So all of them has been executed. Okay, but this is not always the case. Okay, generally what happens is you write only, generally what uh, happens is you have only at the rate test in one particular class. You won't find all this in this class. Okay, so each class will have only at the rate test methods. Okay, most of the time you might find only 2 or 3, or a series, say a series of methods with at the rate test. But these methods, they are sitting in different methods, I'm sorry, they sit in different classes. Okay, and how they are linked to each other, they are linked using inheritance. Okay, so you will find only when I will explain you later in the video TestNG XML, you provide only this class, only one class, or the classes that have at the rate test annotation. Okay, you will pass only the class with these methods, and when you execute them, the TestNG will find all of these annotations. I mean, TestNG will find all these methods with these annotation, and it will execute them first. The reason is they are inherited. Okay, so I hope I have explained you what I wanted to explain in this section, annotation in classes with inheritance. Okay, what do we have next? Okay, now this is the last piece of this video. We are going to see, we are going to get answer for these two questions. Can we have duplicate annotations? Okay, I'm not going to answer you. We are going to try that out with using that code. And after that, we are going to see, are all annotations mandatory? Okay, so let's go and check. So first question is, can we have duplicate annotations? Okay, so let's consider the same case. Okay, all right. Let's consider, we don't have inheritance here. Okay, just forget about it. We are just going to run this. So when I run this class, let's see what is the result now. So it will start from class, since we don't have suite and test, so it will be class, method. Okay, so what I will do is, let's, where is my before class? Let's duplicate this. let's have a let's have another method. Okay, before class 2, before class 2, let's make it 2, and these both, they both have the same annotation. Okay, so duplicate annotation. Let's run and see what happens. Right click, run as TestNG. Okay, now if you see, before class was called twice. Okay, and before everything is executed before class, we know that before method class takes the precedence. But if you see, both the class were executed before anything else was executed. Okay, so that's why we can have duplicate we can have methods with duplicate annotations. Okay, and but TestNG will execute them in the same order as we have. Okay, so classes, both the classes will be executed, and then rest of the things will be executed. Now let's remove this before class. Okay, let's see what happens when we have multiple methods. Let's go with before method. Let's copy this, paste it. All right, and let's make it 2 and 2. Now we have duplicate before methods. Okay, so let's run it and see what happens. Run as TestNG. Okay, so before class, since we have only one before class, so once that was executed, and after that you can see that since we have two before methods, before method 2 was executed, and if you remember, we have one test method. So for each test, we execute before method, right, and after method as well. So let's go and see. So before method and before method 2, both the before method were executed. Test case was executed, and since we have only one after method, so it will execute only once. Okay, and again for the next test, the second test that we have, both the before method will be called, and then that is executed after method, right after that, and after class, and that's it, done. Right, so you saw that duplicate annotations are allowed. You can do it. Okay, but generally we don't. When you start working on a project, Selenium project, you will not see duplicate annotations, okay, within a class. They can be different, they can be in different classes, but not in the same class. That is not right way of designing. TestNG allows it, but it's not right to use it. Okay, now let me get rid of this before method, and similarly for if you duplicate after method, it will happen. It will do the same thing. And let's come here. mm, Control S. Let's come here and let's try to duplicate before suite, and let's see what happens. Okay, before suite 2, before suite 2. Control S, and this time this is in class 2, the second class. So run is, sorry, this one, right, as run as. What happened suddenly? Okay, this is beautiful. Okay, now if you see this, if you click on this, the first class, run as TestNG test, you are getting this option, right? But if you go to this is another finding for you. If you check this class, when you right click on this class and run it, you will not find TestNG test. You will not find as an option. You know the reason why? The reason is we don't have any method with @test annotation. All right. So just know that if you want to run a class using TestNG, run a method using TestNG @test annotation, using TestNG, I'm sorry, so sorry. If you want to run a class with TestNG, you need to have @test annotation. Okay, so let's check it right away. Let's copy. I'm sorry, where is it? Yep. Let's copy this test annotation, put it all the way here. Okay, and let's make it 3. Okay, so now let's run this class 02. Right click, run as. Now you will find TestNG test in here, right? So remember that if a class doesn't have doesn't have a method with @test annotation, you will not be able to run it using TestNG test here. Run as TestNG test will not be available as an option. So let's run this and see. And remember, we have two different suite before suite. So both the suite were executed before test, and then the test, okay, and then after test and after suite. All right, so all clear. So I hope you got the answer, and we learned that if you miss this, then you're not going to get the option for that particular class, this option for that particular class. Okay, so let's go with the next one. Okay, so can we have duplicate annotation? Yes, we can have, but they are not suggested. Okay, second thing is, are all annotations mandatory? Let's check that out. Okay, so what I will do is I will remove, let's start from the from before suite. Okay, now they are separated. Let's go and let's make it simple. So we'll open the last project again and we'll take this class. Let's get rid of these classes. And this class has all the annotations in the same class. Okay, for the simplicity of the understanding, let's use this class where we have all the methods with all the annotations that we have. Okay, so the question was, are all annotations mandatory? The answer is no, and we are going to see that now. Okay, let's if you know that the execution start from before suite. Okay, so let's remove this. Correct. Control S. Okay, I have removed before suite, and let's see what happens. Okay, right click, run as TestNG, and you can see the execution was done. Everything was done, or just that before suite method was not executed and we did not run into an error. Okay, we did not get any error. Everything was done. So annotations, method with annotations are not necessary. Okay, you don't have to have all the annotations within a class or anywhere in the project. Okay, it's up to you which annotation do you want to use. Okay, and if I come to this Selenium, just I have a very good point to make here. You saw that before in each of this method we have we are performing some action, right? We are setting up and we are opening browser. We are then launching the site. What you can do is, before this test, before the actual test that we are performing, okay, you can take all this. I mean, you can perform all these actions, okay, within just one method. Okay, you can just have one method and you can do all this, right? You need not to have before suite, before test, before class, or before, I mean, you will need one of the prerequisite, one of the method with prerequisite annotation, and one of the method with post connection annotation. One method for post conditions and one method for preconditions, and you just need one test method to execute your test. So don't be in the impression that we are going to need all of this. They all, I mean, the every action that we are performing, they can all go under one method. Okay, you can still have everything in before method. Okay, you can cut them, put them under before method, and you can perform the test. That's it. It will work that way. Okay, but for the simplicity, and it provide you a lot of flexibility when you design your test. Okay, and that's the reason why we use multiple annotation. We use different annotations. Okay, when we start to learn Selenium with TestNG, you will understand. I will explain you. I will come back to this point again. I will explain you why, what are we doing with before test, what are we specifying, what are the actions that we are performing within before test, and what are we doing in before class, what are we doing in before method. Okay, so we'll revisit these points again there, and we'll see that those in detail. Okay, so I told you that they all action can be performed in one of the precondition method, and all the post condition can go and set in one annotated method. Okay, you need not to have all the annotations or all methods with all the annotation. It is not mandatory. Okay, so here I had removed before suite. Okay, similarly, if you tell me let's remove before test. Okay, we have removed that as well, and let's see how what happens now. Let's run as TestNG. So before class, we don't have before suite, and we should not have before test as well because we removed that. So before class, before method, So see, we don't have before test and before suite, both are missing. After class, I mean, just after class, it has gone to method and then perform the action, perform the test. After method, before method, test. I'm sorry, why is it? Yeah, test after method and class. And you see, we don't have before test, but after test was executed. So they are not tied to each other. Don't be in the impression that one method is tied to the other method with annotations. But make sure that always remember that if you have a if you have a method with test annotation, it will tie that particular test with before method and after method. If you have, if these methods are there, they will be tied, they will be always executed in the same order: before method test, after method, before method test, after method. All right, so remember that. And in case, let's go with the last one. Say for example, let's remove after method, or let's remove before method. We have removed that. Now let's see what happens. TestNG. Okay, no error, nothing. Everything was executed successfully. Started from class. Okay, but see, after class, I mean, after we executed the method with before class, we don't have before method, so straight away it will execute the test, and after that it will execute after method. Again, we don't have, it will go and look out for before method. Do we have before method? No, we don't. So it will execute the test, the second test, and it will find, okay, do we have after method? Yes, we have. It will execute, and after that it will find for after class, after test, after suite, right? I hope I have cleared what I wanted to clear. I wanted to explain. Okay. So there are a lot of things, right? You can do, what you can do. I cannot cover everything here, all the cases here. So whatever comes in your head, okay, what happens if I do this or that? You try it out. You open up your Eclipse, load in TestNG libraries, and then just start playing with it. And I'm telling you, you will learn a lot of things. Okay, what I have covered is very basic of TestNG, but it is very vast. Even developers use it, and tester also use it. Okay, and the functionality, the feature that it provides is vast, is very vast. Okay, what we do in our automation, they are very limited. Okay, it gives you wings actually, but we don't use all of them. Okay, our scope is very limited, and that is what I'm teaching as of now. But if you want to play, if you want to learn more about it, just go and play with it. Okay, it will not break anywhere. It is very stable framework. Okay, and if you have any question, just let me know. I will try that out and I will explain you. In case I can leave that, I can just put that, leave that question in the comment box. I will answer it there. And if in case it, we may need to meet over a video, I mean, if I need to create a video, then I will create a video and publish it online. So that's all I have for this video. Okay, so this is the end of annotation. And let me just quickly show you the other one as well. I mean, the slide from first one. I told you that we are going to visit these annotations. We are going to see these annotations as well: before group, after groups, data provider, parameter, factory, and listener. These are very important. Okay, but I wanted to cover this first because we use these annotations with these annotations. Okay, so this part is done. Okay, we will see this in future. Okay, not immediately, but one after the other. Okay, you may find a data provider in the next video, or at parameter we have priorities as well. We have different attributes as well. I'll show you, just a minute, since we have opened it. So let me tell you that. Yeah, not TestNG. Yeah, if you go to TestNG documentation, you'll find here, I'm sorry, yeah, these are the annotations that we read in part 1 and part 2. Okay, and if you see these, right, these are attributes. These are the attributes that we use with these annotations, and these are even very interesting. Okay, so I will explain all of this, these, with the help of example, because you cannot read in a definition or text to understand these annotations. Okay, they perform different actions. So you need to understand with examples. So we are going to see all of this in upcoming videos. Okay. And these are again different annotation, and this annotation has two different attributes. We are going to see them as well. Parallel is very important. If you want to run your test in parallel, then you are going to use this. Okay. And there are a lot of other things as well. And at the rate test annotation, okay, at the rate test annotation comes with these attributes. You can use these many attributes with at the rate test annotation. We are going to see this in upcoming videos. Okay. So yeah, that is what I wanted to show you. So if there is any question, any comment, please put it down in the comment box. I'll be more than happy to take it up, to explain you, to answer you. And I request you to, as I told you in the beginning as well, that hit the subscribe button to support me. If you like this video, hit the like button, and put a comment saying something, anything you like. Thank you, or you did not like, or if you did not like, just let me know why you did not like. You want me to change something, I'll do that as well. But just let me know. So don't just click on like, but drop a comment as well. Okay, it will mean it will mean a lot for me. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.